Nobody wants to get a flat tire, but it's not a matter of if, it's when. And so it's a necessary skill that you absolutely have to have. So by the end of this video, you'll know the simple steps to be able to change that mountain bike tire. Hey, it's Coach Eric here, bringing you weekly training and racing tips to improve your off-road triathlon experience. Today we are talking about changing that mountain bike tire. I hate changing the tubes in my tire, but you gotta know how to do it. A couple instances is if you buy a new tire, you gotta replace the tube. If you have a slow leak, so you come out in the morning and you're ready to ride, you're all excited and it's flat. Happened to me. Got to be able to change it. And one other instance I can think of is got a flat on the trail, was close enough to the trailhead, walked it back, and then changed it when I got home. So that's what this video is really helpful for. So let's get into changing that mountain bike tire right now. So to change your tube, you actually only need three things. One, a spare tube. Two, a pump. And three, I guess this counts as one, but one tire lever, or I prefer two, just in case it's difficult to get the tire back on. If the tire is not completely flat, go ahead and let the rest of the air out of it. Once it's totally flat, take this little silver O-ring thing piece off. Not sure the technical name, but slide that off there or the tube won't come out. Don't lose it. Next, you're going to want to work the tire around the rim to kind of loosen it up. Go all the way around and on both sides, loosen it up. At this point, you stick that tire lever in there and kind of be able to get it off the rim. If it's a little bit tricky, you can actually take this and actually connect it to the spoke here and then use the other tire lever to release it. With the one tire lever there holding it out, I can get the other one in and allows me to go around and loosen up the rest of the tire. Now we've got to the point where one side of the tire is completely off all the way around and the other part is actually still on the rim. At this point, I would go over the top of the tire looking for anything that may have caused the puncture. After you go all the way around, I also inspect the inside, both looking and feeling in the tire to see if there's anything that caused the flat. Once half that tire is off the rim, go ahead and find your valve. And at this point, you can reach in and pull out that flat tube. Now, if I'm just replacing the tube, I like to keep one side of the tire on there, but you can take the tire completely off, that's fine. Or if you're applying a new tire, obviously this would apply where look at the tire, and it's actually hard to see here because it blends in written in black, but it actually has a rotational arrow. So make sure you're putting the tire on the right way so that when you're actually riding it, the rotation of the tire is going in the direction you're riding. At this point, grab that new fresh tube and pump it up just a little bit. Tighten that valve a bit. This way it'll go into the new tire and fit in there a little bit easier without getting all tangled up. Okay, let's throw that new tube in there. Insert the valve into the slot. And now we're going to insert this bead part. I didn't know this was called a bead for like 10 years, but we're going to put this side of the bead of the tire back on. You start with where the stem is, and you just kind of work both sides all the way down. I find it easier to kind of set it on a table or something. But you're going to work it around. Make sure the tube is being tucked in there. Now, as you get towards the end, some of these tires are pretty tough to go on. So this is where your tire lever comes in, where you're going to insert it and pull it over. Just be really careful not to put a hole in your tube as you're doing this, because then you're going to start all over again. And it's on. Take a quick glance around the tire on both sides, make sure the tube's not sticking out. And then we're gonna pump this baby out. Just get a little air in the tire here. Once you get a little air in there, it's a little bit soft, I like to just check one more time to make sure the tube was completely inserted. I unfortunately have been there where I didn't notice it and the tube was sticking out just a bit. I kept pumping up the tire and the next thing I heard was boom. And the tube popped because it was wedged in between the rim and the tire. So just double check. Looks good. So then go ahead and pump it up the rest of the way. When it's completely flat, if you have some trouble pumping it up, what you can do is on the other side of the valve here is actually push on the tire. So it'll push the valve in and then take your little silver piece and put it back on, and that'll help. And then you can pump it up a little bit, and then if you see more of the valve, then you can actually tighten this little piece a little even further. All right, this baby is pumped up, new tube, ready to hit the trails. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any other tips in changing a mountain bike tire, please share them with the community and write a comment below. It can be extremely frustrating at times, especially when you're learning how to do it. Or even if you've done it a few times, different tires are more difficult to put on than others. So any helpful tips you have would really be appreciated. Hit that red subscribe button if you don't want to miss any more videos. I'm going to have one on actually how to change the tire when you're out on the trails and you don't have the convenience of a floor pump. Until then, safe riding.